What's up, gaming heroes? Welcome back to another awesome World of Warcraft video. My name is Erosium and welcome back. Guys, it is so very good to see you all today. Today's video is about quite an unfortunate situation that we have here in World of Warcraft right now. And this video is pure and simply to try and highlight this issue to the general public and Blizzard as a whole, and hopefully Blizzard will come up with some idea as to how they can kind of nerf this and stop it from happening to future people going forward. So there is such a thing as an auction house scam, and very much this video is just going to be me playing and kind of going through what that is. So the auction house scam is effectively a player who goes to the auction house and has, say, loads of one certain item. Let's just use a placeholder item as an example. So let's just say it's popped fish, right? It's the fish that you can get from Maldraxxus. What they'll effectively do is they'll basically have a bag full of that type of fish, and what they'll effectively be doing is consistently posting that fish to the auction house at a set low price. So it will be something like 1 silver. Usually it's about 1 silver that they're posting this item to the auction house. And you might be sat there like, well, they're posting it to the auction house at 1 silver, I'll just buy it. But no, unfortunately, they're a bit too wily for your moves there, guys. These guys will post this fish or whatever item it is to the auction house at 1 silver. Then they will cancel that auction and then post another, and cancel it again, and post another, and cancel it again. This is why they need a bunch in the bags in order to make this consistently work. And effectively, when you try and buy that one popped bonefish for 1 silver, because they've cancelled it so quickly, it will say auction not found, internal error, or something along those lines. I've had this happen a bunch of times, just trying to catch the spammers in the action of doing it. And unfortunately you can't. So what it actually does is, when you get, I don't know, some guy called Joe, right? He's running around, you know, he's had a long day at work, he's just done an 8-hour shift, and he's putting food on the table for his family, and he wants to relax now, you know? He wants to relax. So he comes on World of Warcraft and he goes out and he's thinking, you know what, I'm a bit too tired to go out and do some raiding or mythic or PvP. I just want to do some fishing. At least I can get a bit of gold from that. He does like a couple hours of fishing whilst he's just watching YouTube and Netflix on the other screen, and then he goes to the auction house and he posts the fish, and he notices a bit too late. He's posted, 2 hours worth of fishing. So let's just say it's a moderate 16,000 to 20,000 gold worth of fish, right? He posts it to the auction house, and then he realizes, oh no, for some reason that's posted at 1 silver. Let me go cancel that. Unfortunately, that's not what you can do. These scammers will have, because they're constantly putting a popped bonefish on the auction house at 1 silver, then selling it for 1 silver consistently, all they are doing is basically instantly buying any auctions that get put up at that price. So the second you've put that popped bonefish up at that price, you now lose that popped bonefish. That 2 or 3 hours of farming of your life has completely gone. And they will do this with all sorts of materials. It's honestly insane, and it's very, very broken, because the person doesn't even get a chance to cancel their auction. It's too late for them to cancel the auction. They immediately just lose that 2 or 3 hours of their life, and obviously gain, like, I don't know, like 5 silver as a recompense. But it's completely, like, terrible. And obviously it's abuse of game mechanics. That's obvious here. And it is scamming. It's like, say your neighbor goes and buys a, he's a hardworking, or she's a hardworking, yes, let's use a lady in this situation. She's a hardworking lady, and she's putting, food on the table for the family, right? And she's done that. Now she wants to treat herself to a nice car, a really nice car. So she does that, and she gets herself a nice Lamborghini. Okay, I know it's extravagant, but this is just an example. And you, as the neighbor, you see this nice Lamborghini, you're like, oh, I want that. I know, I'm going to offer to buy it. And instead, and I'm going to make them think that they're selling it at, you know, at the price it's worth. I'm going to make them think that, okay? But last second, I'm really going to lower the price to, I don't know, £1, okay? Or $1. Last second, I'm going to lower that price, okay? And they're going to buy it. And you give them the £1 and they give you the keys. And then they look at the £1 and they're like, oh, no, this car's worth a lot more. Too late. You've given me the key. I've purchased it now. Thank you very much. See you later. Then you jump in your Lamborghini and you drive off into the sunset. Unfortunately, this is something that a lot of unethical gold makers who consider themselves gold goblins, or like people who are good at making gold, they consider themselves to be like good gold makers, and realistically they're not. They're just scamming people in a very unethical method to make gold. And I understand why they're doing it. They obviously want to be able to pay for their subscription. They want to be able to buy, you know, like expansions of World of Warcraft. But the means to the ends is not worth it. You've completely ruined so many people's evenings, nights, days, whatever. You've honestly created just pure misery for people when you've done something like that. And in my opinion, if you are just someone who will happily cause misery to others for self-gain, then you're really a terrible person and shouldn't be playing an MMO at all. So in general, if you are one of these people, I'm no disrespect to you here generally, but please stop. Please stop. Think of the people that this affects. It's not nice. It's not clever. It's just scamming. That's all it comes down to. I've got no disrespect for any of you, got no hate or animosity. Just try and think and be a bit more conscientious of the other people out there who are playing this game as well, because you know we're supposed to be enjoying this as a community, not just after self-gain all the time. There are ethical ways of making gold. You know, I've been making 20 to like 50k gold a day with just crafting. I've not even been leaving the auction house. I've just been buying materials, crafting, and sticking them back on the auction house. And guess what? I buy the materials at the price they're typically worth. Now, don't get me wrong. If someone sells, you know, some materials, I don't know, 20 gold under the value I'm used to buying them, of course I'm going to buy them. But, you know, I'm not going to try and push them to sell the materials at 1 silver. And this is the bit that really grinds my gears, where people say, yeah, but they should be checking the price before they post it, and they come up with this kind of like reasoning to being an abhorrent person where they are scamming people. And it's like, just because someone hasn't checked something doesn't mean you can abuse them at all. That's not something, that's not cool, and it doesn't make you clever or smart, and you've got absolutely no moral gain at all, no moral standing to do something like that. It's just honestly terrible, because if you did, then you would give them a 5-minute cooldown before you bought that. But you really don't, do you? You say, oh, should have checked that price, and buy it. You know, that's a completely different situation. I know it sounds like I'm being hateful here, but only when people make petty excuses for just abhorrent behavior. That's all I can describe it is abhorrent behavior. You should know better. You know, as people, we should know better than to ruin people's time on a game where they come on to relax and enjoy themselves just for, you know, some gain. You know, what type of world would we be living in if everyone did that? Now, again, I'm trying to be really clear, guys. I'm not hating on anyone specifically here. I know there's been a few people who've mentioned it in the comments, and I've said my piece to you guys, and I don't mean any genuine hate towards any of you. It's more just trying my hardest to improve the game, make a better gaming community for World of Warcraft, because ultimately everyone wants to enjoy World of Warcraft. Everyone wants to find, you know, a fun gaming community to be part of. And that's really, really hard when you've got these types of things. I've had it happen to myself before where someone scammed me. And it's only, luckily for me, it was only, I lost 1 meat. You know, it wasn't a big deal. It might have been 2 meat, but either way, I lost 2 meat that were worth like 7 gold each, and they got sold at 1 silver each. Kind of pissed me off, I'm not gonna lie. I was really angry, really frustrated, and by all accounts, I had a blooming good reason to be angry and annoyed. That is a pretty annoying thing to happen. So yeah, that's my thoughts when it comes down to this. Now, the solution. Well, what Blizzard... Now the solution. Blizzard, what is the solution that you can come up with here that will potentially fix this issue without ruining the auction house for the general public? Okay? Because this is a pretty hard thing to do, to fix, you know, because the issue is there's lots of fixes, but there's lots of fixes that will generally ruin the auction house experience for the average player, and we don't want to do that, you know? We want to kind of create a fun experience for the auction house sellers and everyone who sells things on the auction house without ruining it, right? And there's a way we've got to kind of defeat these scammers. Now, something I kind of thought of was some like half measures that kind of half fixes it. I really just want to punish the people that do this stuff, like, because that's the person in me that wants to do that, but realistically we can't. We just need to fix the actual problem itself and not be personal about it. So the actual problem itself is obviously that these people will put an item on the auction house for like 1 silver, 1 copper, whatever it is, and they'll be like, oh crap, okay, I want to change this and I want to cancel it. So maybe there could be a cooldown, you know, a 2-minute cooldown on any item that you post on the auction house. It basically can't be bought for 2 minutes or something like that, you know. So like maybe, yeah, maybe 120 seconds. 120 seconds isn't a big deal. You make a mistake, you get a chance to look through your auctions and you can cancel it. Still paid that deposit fee. Yeah, you've made a mistake there, no problem, you can fix it. No one can buy that. At least that will stop these scammers from being able to just like prey on people who've made a mistake. Next thing, which I think, unfortunately, I've had this suggested to me a couple of times by my viewers who have been talking to about this, and they've suggested that Blizzard kind of set an average minimum price for items. I think this is a huge amount of work and resources required for Blizzard to do this, and I think this is a very difficult thing for them to do, is to set a minimum price. I feel like it's almost controlling the market too much, and I think the beauty of the World of Warcraft auction house is that there's ebbs and flows, a bit like the stock market, things going up, things going down with the game changes and the mechanics changes. So I'm not sure if that would be kind of the best decision right there. However, obviously that's what like type of drastic thing will happen when people will continue to abuse these game mechanics. That's what will happen. So we really have to be careful in that regard. The next step would be, again, one that I'm not suggesting as something that would be good at all, and that would be, sadly, a cancellation fee. I know you've already paid a deposit fee, but also a cancellation fee. You know, that would be something that you could look into as being a broken mechanic. You know, it's obviously not ideal, but I tell you what, that would slow a lot of people's cancellations. Even like a 1 silver cancellation fee. You know, if these people are doing this hundreds and hundreds of times, like a minute or whatever it is, they would basically have some financial ruin from a cancellation fee. This would obviously hit the average player base at a certain point, but realistically, what's 1 silver cancellation fee to someone who only needs to do like 3 cancel scans a day of like 50 items? You know, that's 1.5 gold a day that they've spent on these cancellations. Big deal, who cares? You know, but for people who are doing these like hundreds a minute, from just like constantly posting cancel, post cancel, they're going to be spending a lot of gold over time doing this. And it, I mean, that I think the cancellation fee could be based on the item as well. So that could also be a factor. It does ruin the player experience for the average player, but ultimately they're ruining the player experience with this scam. So it's kind of coming up with suggestions and ideas that can stop this type of thing. An additional thing could be a auto system like that Blizzard kind of could easily code, where they recognize people who are using this technique, and it automatically flags them for attention for a game master or someone to review, you know, what type of actions that they're doing in game. And then, you know, if they are continuing to do this, then a warning could go out, followed by a swift ban if that is continued afterwards. That could be a good way of maintaining, you know, the decorum, so to speak. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this and kind of what you think about how you would go about fixing this. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of hate in this video just because of the fact that there are a few people doing this and they get very angry at me whenever I release videos like this that display how abhorrent the behavior of people are when they do these types of things. That's completely fine. If you really hate this video and you're upset by it as a result of it, you can dislike it. I don't care. If that means that I get a chance to hopefully stop you guys, whoever is doing it, from doing this, I don't care. I'm happy for that. Go ahead, do your worst. Like, hit the dislike button if you want to. Hit the like button if you do agree with me and you really want this type of, like, just terrible, like, behavior within World of Warcraft to stop. Or this mentality that, you know, it's somehow the person's fault if they've accidentally sold something for one server. You know, for me personally, there comes to a point where I'm just like, no, that's just you being a terrible person. So I really hope this kind of gets sorted by Blizzard. And again, Blizzard, I've never used this myself. I wanted to show it in a video, but the other part of it was I don't want to ruin anyone's day doing that. I would feel really terrible as a person if I kind of went out of my way to ruin someone's day doing that method. So I don't want to do that to anyone else, even if it's to show an example, you know, even if it's just to show an example of how it's done. I don't want to do it. It's not for me. So yeah, that's a certain thing. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this video and found it insightful, useful in some minor ways at least. If you are interested in ethical gold making, by all means, check out my channel. I've got a load of gold making tips and tricks. If you're into transmog, we can do some transmog runs on Fridays. We stream the transmogs as a group. I do stream on Mondays as well. The stream is always on YouTube. Additionally, I have some trade skill master videos where you can learn how to craft, you know, buy materials from the auction house at ethical prices, and then crafting items and selling those on the auction house to make quite a good profit. So I make between 20 and 50k a day just from doing that alone on one character. So that's 2 professions. That's it. It's super, super good and definitely worth doing. Past that, if you're more into raw gold farms, we have some of those in the auction house as well. So yeah, it's whatever. We have some of those on the auction house. We have some of those on my channel as well. If you're really into those, then hit me up and let me know. By all means, join the Discord. We've got loads of World of Warcraft players in there who just love to hang out and talk about gold making, leveling, Mythic Plus, raiding, all that awesome shenanigans. It's just a great community in general, and we're having a great time there. So I really, really hope that you guys like this video. Smash the like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you next time. This is Erosium, out.